Just can't wait.
You can't wait? You can't wait
No.
for the fun?
Mhm.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. We're here to talk about training.
Perfect.
One of your favorite topics, Mr. Park.
It is drama and training. Those are my two favorites. And I
There's
think
not going to be any drama in this video.
Dang it.
No, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm not going to talk about any of that primary and secondary stuff that you've been teeing up lately. All right. So we both teach, and we teach with a kind of a relatively small crew of guys, but we all talk, share ideas.
Indeed.
All right. So over the last year, we've changed a lot of stuff in our classes, at least.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go over some of the stuff that's changed and why. I think the why is interesting.
Well, the big one, I think, in my brain was switching it up, the order. We used to do kind of group shooting to make sure you and the gun hit the same place. You could talk about hand position, that kind of junk, and then you're kind of, I mean, it sucks. I don't like doing it. So we do a little bit of group shooting. Then we'd build into practical accuracy, which would have more accountability, like stacking your shots, then doubles.
Well, so
rapid fire pair.
Right, but the important thing, it was slow fire shooting, then just shooting at the pace of your sights, and then
reactive shooting to your each sight picture,
and then trying to shoot faster than that, essentially.
And then rapid fire pairs. So you'd be speeding up.
And now we do the exact opposite order.
Yes.
Right. So that was something that Parinka came up with. He's like, look, just start doing them doubles. That's the way to do it. What do you think the effect of that change has been?
I think it's been fantastic because, well, let's talk about reverse. Practical accuracy or group shooting is talking about little nuances in your grip, little minor things. Doubles is really like the gun's bucking hard in your hand, and you've got a bigger problem to figure out than the small, like the high amount of accountability for where each shot's going. You're not that nuanced in yet. It's just big, gross ideas.
Well, when it's happening slower, it's easier to do it, to pull the trigger straight without moving the gun.
Mm-hmm.
When you're shooting doubles, so essentially like as fast as you can pull the trigger, it induces those issues right away.
Right.
But in our thinking now, it's like, hey, it gives you a chance to work through them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the results have been good.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think it has been good. Another thing that's had really good results is the aiming references. So like black or white paster, sometimes just a spritz. Is that a word? A spritz of paint?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
About the size of a quarter. Right on the target. Let's talk about that. When did we start doing that?
That's been a couple years ago. Was that last year, maybe?
I think it was the end of last year. I don't even think it's been a year yet.
Maybe. It's tough to keep track. It all blends together.
It sure does.
Well, I mean, how about this? Let's be real. Almost after every class we've taught together, I mean, afterwards, there's always an after action. Let's talk about it. What do you like? What don't you like? And should the next class change? So really, I mean, like we're reevaluating and changing almost after every single class.
Yeah. So it seems like a long time ago. I don't even think it's been a year.
Maybe not.
So we've been using the aiming references for a while. So what have you seen from that?
Well, it's very eye-opening because when you're asking someone to shoot, like, hey, pick a coin-sized target or coin-sized spot on this big brown cardboard target, people generally don't pick as precise of a spot as they should be. And once you just add that little aiming reference, whether it's a piece of tape, electrical tape, a paster, whatever, all of a sudden the group goes from having a big pattern to it usually just shrinks. And then as opposed to it kind of being high, low, left, whatever, the shots center up more, which it impresses to people a lot upon the power of just your vision, looking where you want to hit and being very specific with that spot, not looking at the big brown target or even just looking at the A zone. No, I want to hit the perforated letter A in the A zone.
Yeah, it just gives your eyes like a target, something to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think a big advantage of putting the aiming references on for a while is it helps people identify when they're target focused and when they're not.
For sure.
And it just helps them figure it out.
It's very telling how your gun recoils, I think, because you're, again, more likely to be focused on the spot, and hopefully peripherally they're going to see how their dot or their front sight flies all over the place. And by having the marker to compare their sights to, it's a lot more telling where your gun's recoiling or how it's recoiling, compared to if you just had a brown cardboard target behind your sights. It might not be as evident to some people how their gun's recoiling or the manner.
Yeah, I think the other big change in the last year is adding a lot of micro drills.
Mm-hmm.
So micro drills, what's a good way to explain those? It's like a drill within a drill that it's just for your awareness. It's just
there's no perfect score on it. We're not even keeping track of it. We're not even scoring the targets. The whole thing is just trying to pick out a small aspect of your shooting and making it very telling what's going on in just that one little aspect.
I think you either fire 1 round per rep of the drill or no rounds, depending on the drill.
Well, let's give some examples. So Professor Kim came up with a very nice 1-shot return drill, which is good. So what this is you're just looking at the spot you want to hit, you press the trigger to fire the shot, and then you assess how your sight, your dot, or your sights move, and if they move in a direct line back to the aiming reference. If they go up high, then you kind of adjust them down slowly. Maybe you're pushing into the gun.
Yeah.
So you notice it pushes past. It's only 1 shot, but it's very in your face about what's going on.
But the weird thing for these drills is we don't really care where the bullets go. So for that return drill, you're already aimed at a spot on the target.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're sitting there aiming, waiting for the buzzer. You hear the buzzer, you fire that shot. The drill isn't about where that shot went. It's about what the sight does after. And that's hard for people to wrap their head around initially, especially if you're sitting at home. It's like, yeah, you may not get it. Maybe that explains it.
Well, another good one, maybe somebody at home would get, is changing your vision. So we have someone hold the gun, which the gun feels like it weighs 100 pounds after you're holding it up at eye level for a minute or a minute and a half. But just adjusting your vision to making sure you're staring at the target, and notice the movement in your sights, pull your vision back, intentionally staring at your front sight of your dot, then noticing how that moves in relation to the target, and just moving your vision back and forth. Just observing what happens.
That's great. You move your vision back and forth, right, Joel?
Yes.
Like
exactly. I pull my vision back so I can see everything at once.
Back and forth.
Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
Another one is trigger control at speed. A dry fire drill where you just aim the gun's cocked at point at the target, and when you get the beep, you just mash right through the trigger. And initially, when you shoot that drill, you should actually be doing it wrong. Or when you're doing the dry fire drill, you should be doing it wrong. And you should be doing it wrong in the exact same way the bullets are hitting on your target. That's super telling of a grip issue or pushing into the gun.
All right. Yes. So quite a few changes to the classes.
Yeah.
All right. So if people want to watch a full class, I'm happy to put it like we're doing a class this weekend. I'm going to put the full class on Training Group, pstg.us. A few days later, it'll come here to YouTube.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I know. We'll just put the classes out there. Anything else I should put in the description? There'll be a link to the classes page at PSTG.
Mm-hmm.
Joel has co-authored some books with me.
This is true.
Which you should look at. Practical Shooting Training, Adaptive Rifle, most notably.
Ben did all the work.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I'll say you did all the work. You could say I did all the work. It works out really well. Well, and while you're on that site, you could also sign up for classes if you want, as long as I'm going to shill some stuff.
Yes.
I bullied Ben into making a video that explains the classes because, well, a question I get often is we have 2 different class types, fundamentals and skills and drills. Who are these for? What are they? Like all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm like, hey, Ben, we're making a video just so you know. And so there's a video on that page that I'll make Ben link that explains the 2 classes, what the differences are. I also created a couple documents. So if you want to host us, there's a document and just a checklist before you go to class as a student of, hey, make sure you bring Your gun, make sure you have, if you have spare parts or a second gun, that's a good idea. You're going to be outside in the sun all day, bring sunscreen, that kind of junk. So not trying to be your mom or hold your hand, but just a checklist of stuff that you should have for planning to be outside all day on the range.
Yeah. All right, Joel. Well, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Folks, if you have questions, you want to talk to Joel, go to psdg.us.
Just bang my line.
Just bang my line. Yeah.